Welcome to Takeshi's Bench, where you can discuss all things philosophical. In this episode and in later ones, I'd like to introduce some books that are useful for learning how to write papers in humanities, and especially for philosophy classes. When we teach introductory courses in humanities or the first year undergraduate courses in philosophy, many students come to us and ask, how can I improve my reading classical books, or how can I improve my writing for philosophy papers? These questions are actually very difficult to answer because teaching how to read and write in philosophy is like teaching how to swim or paint or sing. It is impossible to learn how to swim unless we jump into the water. The same goes for painting and singing, right? Really, the best way to improve your reading and writing in philosophy is just increase the number of your practice. Make a habit of reading books and writing down your ideas, and you will soon find yourself writing better papers than before. Actually, this is enough for many students. But good teachers in swimming sometimes can tell you what you should watch out for as you jump into the water, or tell you what you're doing wrong when you're not improving your time after many hours of practice. In the same way, we have some books that give you a set of great instructions on how to write philosophy papers well. Sometimes we are asked to teach a class called Writing Philosophy Papers, and we grumble about how clueless those who came up with the class titles are about writing philosophy papers. Actually, philosophers like us, we complain a lot. Anyway, when I'm assigned to teach writing or reading philosophy course, I usually put together pieces of famous books like The Turabian, which is the shorter version of the Chicago Manual of Style, or Anne Stillman's Grammatically Correct. It's usually rare to read through a whole book for a course like this, but there's a single book that I would definitely recommend anyone who is interested in philosophy. That is Scott Kreider's The Office of Assertion. Its subtitle is An Art of Rhetoric for the Academic Essay. It's actually a great read. You can read the whole book in a single weekend, and to use the author's words for describing a good piece of writing, it is precise, concise, and vivid. There is a review form at the end of the book that you can use to determine whether or not your writing is well structured or demonstrates rhetorical soundness for the academic audience. There's also an example of good paper at the end of the book as well, and it's very useful for the students, especially when they need an example of good papers. Finally, this book meets the golden standard of American liberal arts education. That is to say, if you are asked to write a good paper for liberal arts programs in North American universities, this is the book to read, and you should definitely use it for writing your essays. Of course, it's impossible to have the perfect book, right? There are some pointers that we should pay attention to. As the author points out at the outset, the style of his writing or style of argumentation is a bit old-fashioned. So if you belong to the history of philosophy camp, there should not be any problem. But if you belong to the contemporary continental philosophy or the category of others that I've described in a previous episode, you might find it difficult to enjoy it without raising some questions about standard of good rhetoric in the field of academia. So that is one thing that we should watch out for. The second thing is the target audience. The target audience is American undergraduate students. So some of the rhetorical device could be challenging for some students. For instance, it uses the Declaration of Independence as a fine example of rhetorical argument. If I use this book for giving a lecture somewhere in East Asia or Central America, this part might not be as effective as it would be in the United States. So instructors would have to supply some other culturally self-evident examples to supplement the essential point that the author tries to get across to his readers in this book. Other than that, it is definitely a great book to read, and after reading it, it always makes me feel like writing my papers or books. So I definitely recommend this book to anyone who is interested in philosophy. Okay, if you made it to this far, you should definitely like this video. And also, if you are interested in philosophy, please subscribe to this channel, Takeshi's Bench. If you have any questions about philosophy or comments, arguments, or counter-arguments, or any ideas on all things philosophical, please send them to us through comments. We will try to pick some of them for the future episodes. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.